Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Candlestick, and today we are playing Papilio Tacet, which is it is technically an FPS, but it's also kind of half a game as well. And I will be both the pseudo DM and playing Crystal Everlight. And would the lovely, wonderful, amazing people I'm playing with tonight like to introduce themselves?
I guess I'm at the top. That means I go first. Hello, everybody. I am Whis, and I am playing Junior Detective Little Rye Stagehand today.
And we've got the second person here. It's Swear Monkey time. Hi everyone. I'm Vwild, and I'm playing a detective, a little in Stagehand at your service.
All right. Starting off, shall we start off with Rai and Lynn? Rai, you received an interesting letter recently.
Okay. Yeah. How recently is recently? Is recently as in like 5 minutes ago, or recently as in yesterday, or?
It's
However
recently
you want.
I think, given the impression I've gotten of the contents of this letter, probably in the last like 30 seconds might be appropriate. He does check his mail rather diligently, especially when it's got his name on it. He doesn't get a whole lot of mail. Most of the mail still is addressed to Lynn. So, like, when it's got his name on it, he's like, oh, I got mail! Ah! And, like, he'll flip it over and look at who it's from and all that jazz.
Yeah, you're welcome to roll an investigation on the letter if you want.
Excellent. Excellent. I get advantage.
I also find it especially amusing is Rye goes and checks his mail. Lynn also checks the mail, but hers mainly comes through Jeeves, the wonderful butler guy. He's highly amusing. He just comes in with a silver platter and just feeds it through the left box.
Oh, that is fantastic.
She's told him to stop. He's politely said that he does what he likes.
He has a permit.
He has a permit and he's not going to deny him his kicks.
Nice.
Splendid. That was a 13 for Rye's investigation.
Well, you recognize the handwriting from Crystal because you've gotten a couple of other letters from her. It's been a while since her last one to you, and you maybe notice it looks a little bit more rushed than normal, but I think that's all you pick up from at least the very outside.
Okay. We'll open it up and look at the letter inside.
Yeah, well, it's fairly short. Mostly just there's a little bit of pleasantry that she tends to give at the top. How are you? How is detective work been treating you? Please tell me you haven't gotten yourself into any big trouble.
Define trouble, Miss Crystal.
There's a small sorry I haven't kept in touch recently. Things have come up. And then followed by actually I do need I would like to basically along the lines of needs you and your mother's help on a case that she thinks her sister is missing.
Oh, Miss Crystal has a case. Oh, Miss Crystal's sister. Okay, I think that might be in the urgent bucket. Mom!
Private office, kiddo!
Tap, 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 tap. Shoop, through the gap in the door.
Mom! I got a letter from Miss Crystal, who was on the aberrations case with me, and she has a case her sister's missing. Can we go and help, please?
Okay, that was a lot of words at once, but I think I caught the gist. Missing case? Alright. Kidnapping. Great, that's actually one of our criteria. Kidnapping, murders, toon trade, the whole lot. Honestly, for once it's someone we don't know personally. This is actually... No, I'm not going to say that because that's mean. Anyway, let's go!
While I understand Lynn's train of thought. Oh dear. Rye's gonna nod and read over the letter again to make sure there aren't any other clues or information, and then open the side office door. Is like,
Okay, I think we have to go and meet Miss Crystal, and she can tell us more about the case. Yes.
All right. And Lynn's going over to one side, just like giving a whistle, and the desk drawer is opening, so she's pulling out her crossbow and such, just grabbing her hat, just going, okay. Did she give you an address? Somewhere to meet, a drop-off point?
Rye's gonna look at the letter again.
It does have an address on it. It's got a return address on it, but she's also left a little note of the address on envelope.
Yeah, it goes to her place. I've got the address. It's on the envelope.
All right.
In Toontown.
Okay, Toontown. All right. Let's see. Teleportation or key? And she's grabbing her axe while she's saying this.
Well, her sister's missing, so urgent, so probably key.
All right. And she does just like click her neck, just go, okay, kid, you got your focus?
Yeah.
You got your bag?
Yep.
All right. You got everything that you need? You got food?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Weapons, hat, ID, backup protocols, key, distressing. Okay. All right. Let's go. And she just grabs a notepad from by the door, pats the door frame as she's going, and there is a very happy, encouraging hum. Just, back soon!
Bye, Nettle. Bye, Uncle Hattie.
Bye, Stickster. See you later.
Bye, Hattie! We love you! Alright, let's go.
Picnic.
And yeah, there is just a very happy, triumphant sounding house. There is Hattie upstairs. There is just Lynn is schmovin'. In fact, actually, yeah, she is full on just like expeditious retreat. Just closes the door, makes sure that network's all happy, and then noom! She knows you can keep up. Mostly. You might fall slightly behind because she is faster than you.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Oh,
he knows she's not going to leave him behind.
Yeah, I just remembered I forgot to roll Lynn's die for today.
Oh, yeah.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me. You can do stuff. You can do the other stuff.
Alright, so you guys are taking the door to Toontown. Whereabouts are you guys planning on coming out?
Honestly, depends on... not today. Okay, so Lynn's actually had good sleep today for once, thank God.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was an 88 knocked down to a 22, so she actually had decent sleep. But basically, it's whatever building... Because how the key works is it goes to a door that you know. And so she'll be basically using that door to come back later on. But it's just, whichever door is closest, she'll just find the nearest building. She goes like, Clara Craigery's place, or my informants live there. I'm going to scare the shit out of them. Great. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, the nearest place to this house is Cop and Morpher's place. So there's just a goblin about to leave, and then there's just a detective going, "Hi, you saw nothing. All right, let's go."
There's just a little salute from Rye to Morpher and Cop as he runs after Lynn.
And there's just Cop at the door going, "Morpher, I just saw the craziest shit," and just close the door again.
Fantastic. So the address takes you to the Toontown University. Specifically the on-campus housing, or at least the postgraduate on-campus housing. And you follow the. I'm not going to make you guys roll survival to see if you can find the door or anything like that. So yeah, you managed to find the apartment door and knock on it, I am assuming.
Rye's going to be looking around going,
Miss Crystal did say she liked school, but I didn't think she'd want to live in a school.
I've heard certain students do. It's to get close to the library normally. Studious workers, that sort of thing.
I didn't think she was a student, though.
You are
mean, there are
in
different
the postgraduate section, but I don't know if either of you know what that is.
Rye certainly doesn't. You know what he thinks school is like.
Yes.
I just rolled a straight intelligence for Lynn. Lynn knows. Lynn knows.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure Lynn knows with a dirty 20.
Mm.
Yes.
I'm
yes,
not going
you
to roll
do.
for Rye because it's funnier if he doesn't.
Yeah, it's just Lynn does for once doesn't think to clarify because it's just like
It's
it
pretty adorable.
makes sense. And she is just there, just right. Ms. Crystal.
Yep, so that's a 15, so the door actually opens fairly quickly, and you get harried there. A harried looking woman at the door who sort of like looks at you both and is like, "Ah, right, and Detective Stagehand, I presume?" And she holds out a hand.
Ah, that is correct. Pleased to meet you, at your service. And Lynn does reach out her hand, and I've got to roll. I've got to roll strength to see how she does on her right hand. Hey, she's doing pretty well today.
Well, that's fine because Crystal's not the strongest, so I don't think you get a very like heavy handshake. In fact, it seems a little bit distracted. Thank you for coming on short notice. Right. Cassie's apartment. And she's like, give me two seconds. I just need to get my bag. And like she just like runs back in, and you hear a little bit of cluttering, and then back out and like shut the door. And like I'm assuming like, going to her place is the right start, right?
Yes, indeed. While we're going, and do remember to lock your door. I know this can be stressful in these times, but good to remember the normal things. While we're walking, could you give us some more information? How long she's been gone? Anything?
You're also.
Dice, are you fucking kidding me?
What was that, Whis?
Oh, I just rolled a hammer space. Let me
Oh,
get my fumble chart.
At least we don't have an octopus on it anymore.
That's true. Oh,
By the way,
dear.
you're both welcome to roll either insight or perception on Crystal while you're walking and as she's talking to you.
I will do that too. Okay, Rye pulls out a napkin that has a dog drawing on it. That is not what he wanted to do. So he will put it back in his coat. Try again. Hey, there we go. Okay. He now has his portable caseboard notebook.
Mhm.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yep. Now what are we doing? Insight. What's your insight?
Mhm.
+5.
Lynn got 18.
That's a 6. So that's 11.
By the way, random question: how old is Crystal?
She is I think 4 foot. No, that doesn't sound right. Give me one moment.
She's taller than Cassie, yeah?
Yeah, she's 5 foot.
Ah,
5 foot exactly.
you know what? Screw it. Lynn's gonna do it. When Crystal went into like her apartment again, Lynn kind of looked at that and just went, "Ah, okay, this person's taller than I anticipated." Reached into her space and pulled out her 1 foot tall heel.
Oh, amazing.
She is not going to be a short one today.
Oh,
A teenager. A teenager can be the short one.
I'm gonna roll a perception to see if she notices the change in height.
You've gone from 3'6" to 4'6".
That's a 9. I think she blinks once and then like chalks it up to her distraction and then just doesn't think about it again.
And Lynn's got a pretty damn good poker face, so it's just that calm professionalism. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Anyway, so the questions what were the questions that Lynn asked her again?
How long has she been gone? And how was she alerted to the situation? And are there any details that she finds most pressing before they get to the scene?
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna roll off your insight there. When you mentioned how long has she been gone, you definitely see the wince that Crystal gives to that question, and basically I don't think Rye catches it, but basically that there is a fair amount in her expression that looks uh, guilty and a little bit unhappy as she answers, well, we're not actually sure how long she's been gone. We we haven't been talking for a little while. As for how I found out, well, our cousin cousins went over there to check on her because she missed their birthday and she wasn't home when they knocked, and they asked me on the way home I had if I'd seen her, and that doesn't that really doesn't sound like her, and so that was 2 days ago, I think.
All right. Oh, 48 hours means we can log it. It's not great, but... And she did roll a deception. She got damn decent. Lynn gets really good with her goddamn deceptions, goddamn you. It was very much in the we don't know how long she's been gone. There was very much the professional mask very much came up at that. Just very much expression unreadable at that, but it's just okay.
Rye's taking notes.
Oh, when was she seen last?
I don't know that.
Okay. Does she have any friends? Anyone that you know she would go to? Perhaps she's at a sleepover.
I m- m- maybe mm, I she does have friends. But I don't know if she's our cousins are probably the people that she's been seeing the most recently. It's things we we had a fight. It was bad. I don't think she wants to be around people at the moment.
I see. Ms. Crystal, how old is your sister?
Cassie is 19.
Okay. Not as bad as it could be. Not great. She's an independent age. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Okay, yeah, alright. I just...
I understand it.
Yeah, I don't want the fight and... Anyway, yeah.
You don't want it to be the last thing you talk to each other about. I understand entirely. Take a deep breath. I promise you, as part of my job, as part of who we are of the Stagehand's Requiem, we are going to find her. Okay?
Yes, I have... I know you've got a good record. I might have looked into it after I met Rye.
Oh! Then you'll see my very long track record. I'm damn good at my job.
Yes. Yes. Right. This way. Yeah, and she will like she has been walking like in the direction absent-mindedly, but it comes off as she is trying to be more in control than she currently feels right now.
Fair enough, really.
Which Lynn is definitely not commenting on because, yeah, you give people as much control as you can. They need control in a situation like this.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to ask along the way or any more prodding you want to do about the situation and what Crystal knows.
I think there would be one last question that Lynn had.
Mhm.
Just, Ms. Crystal, this is a very blunt question, but it's a standard one. Is there any conflict you have had with outside people? Anyone you think could possibly want harm to you or your sister?
All right. Let me roll something.
Oh?
Yep, that'll do.
That's always a concern.
That's always a concern. Is that a deception by any chance?
It is not.
Oh,
There. She looks a little bit thoughtful and maybe a little bit perplexed, and then there is a kind of sort of expression, and well, I I know Cassie's been traveling, and I haven't caught up on everything that she's done, so I can't tell you anything about there that might have happened. But I do know that her mail to me had been intercepted for about a year and a half.
oh.
Someone's been stealing your mail?
Rye writes that down.
Mm.
That's a criminal offence.
I
It's an amusing one with the mail department. They're vicious.
uh, it. I've been trying to find out more about it, and I have not been having any luck so far.
Have you reported it at all, Miss Crystal?
I've reported it to the mail service. They have well and truly gotten a few letters from me and in-person reports that I have filled out, but
Okay, good, good.
so far nothing has come of it.
Well, it's good you're following procedure on that part.
So many people don't.
She rolls her eyes at that. You think she might have been on the receiving end of that sort of thing before?
This is a public safety announcement. Always file your reports.
Yeah, basically. Rye's going to sort of scratch his head with his pen and then look back up at Crystal.
What does your sister look like, Miss Crystal?
There's a dot dot dot, and then just like a almost like physical face palm, and she's like, right, that would help. And I'm gonna roll hammer space. 6, yep, that's fine. She reaches into her hammer space and pulls out a photograph of what it's a picture of two people. One of them is very clearly her, and the other is a shorter toon with a very different design style. Crystal is very much well, I don't know why I said very much. Crystal is got a stained glass sort of design, whereas Cassie has the more chibi bobblehead sort of design, and two colorful wings sticking out the back that you can see in the picture.
Ooh, the wings would be pretty obvious.
Right, Rye's just writing down a physical description because he can't draw for beans. I mean, it might be a little
Bless him.
fairy doodle in the corner, but he's going to rely on Lynn doing a proper sketch later.
Oh, bless him.
Are the wings collapsible? Is there any way she could hide them? What class is she?
She's a bard.
All right. Classification of bard, eloquence, valor.
Hold on. I need to look this up because I don't remember it. Glamour. College of Glamour. The
Right.
wings. I mean, they're probably easier to hide than many others, but not really. I don't think you'd be able to do it well, and she's not really the sort to do that anyway.
They're stained glass, like you, right?
Hold on, I do need to roll for that, I think. Oh, that's a nat one.
Uh-oh.
I'm upsetting her, aren't I?
Yeah, she the face she pulls is very much a grimace. You think she might have been trying to hide that, but she did a very, very terrible job. In fact, it might even be more obvious. And yes, they are.
Okay.
They are a interesting quality. I will not rule out that possibility, but hopefully it doesn't come to it. Okay.
Miss Crystal, has your sister gone missing before?
No, she hasn't. This is the first time.
Okay. All right. Okay, so first time missing, 19-year-old, out of character behavior, distinguishing marks, possible traits of interest. Okay. We've got a few ideas on this front. I think the next best thing is to possibly see the apartment. Have you been inside already?
Going to roll a d2. Have you been inside yet?
Okay. Okay.
No, she has not been inside, and she says as much. That she kind of the behavior was out of sorts enough for her to want to contact someone immediately, especially given she basically says as much, especially given recent circumstances.
Recent circumstances? As in what you said already about the outer character missing the birthday or something else?
The fight.
Ah, of course. Merely clarifying. Right.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as you haven't been inside, that's actually a positive on this end. It's if there's anything inside, it hasn't been disturbed. When we get there, we're going to want to check the locks. We're also going to want to check any activity inside just as a precaution. If everything's fine, Rai, do you want to pull the side door trick?
Yep, I can do that.
All right.
Side door trick?
A little trick that Rai can do. He's squishy.
That's my way of putting it, Mom.
It's true. You're wonderful, you're fantastic, and very useful for getting open doors. I should know, Networks tried to stop you.
She did. Yes.
It falls every.
Crystal is just looking very perplexed at this, and then opens her mouth as if to ask more, than just close it. No, never mind. I don't think I'm gonna get a good explanation for this.
You'll see it.
Well, if we have to do it.
Lynn full on just gives the side glance, and it's the experienced detective that holds many secrets. It's like you'll know it when you see it. All right, let's go.
All right. Yeah, you guys reach her apartment without too much like with no fanfare or anything like that. It's I actually don't know how far away it is from Crystal's apartment, but honestly, given that they're toons and can probably do a scene transition anyway, it's probably not that long.
I love that quality of them.
It's they can tell that a certain amount of music has gone by in the background music. That's all you need to know about. It was enough time for a conversation, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep. But yeah, you reach it. It's a pretty standard apartment building. And you can and Crystal knows her way up to Cassie's apartment. I don't know if it's one of those ones with the like where they have to buzz you in. But um it's very obvious that she's made this trek before.
Mm-hmm.
Does she own the apartment or rent?
Rents it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How long has she rented it?
Um, how long did she say it was? Been since I think around the middle of last year. She's been performing at the theater with the theater company not too far away, and they provide they pay for the housing in this area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Lynn, can I either ask this or roll history of has the theatre company done anything further away recently? Like perhaps just after the argument, she just took off to join the theatre.
I mean, is that what she's asking, or?
She can she can, in fact, she'll do both if you like, of ask and roll history to see if she can remember anything from theatre groups, because Lynn keeps her hand on the pulse of the town.
Oh yeah,
She
for
might
sure.
Yeah.
Roll for
Rye's
it.
going to
Yeah.
roll a history as well because they're stagehands. Maybe he heard something around the hub.
It's literally the family business. And yeah, it's a family friggin' business apparently. And yeah, pray tell, what does a 22 get in?
Well, with a 22, I think you probably maybe it's the description and the image you got, but you've actually probably even heard that and I need to when did I run that game? I think it was November
The
that I
center stage.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was November.
Yeah. November was a performance that went on in Toontown of the Nutcracker of Swan Lake that had a new lead who had was described as having very spectacular dancing, especially with those colorful wings of hers. And that same group have currently been working on their next performance, but are not planning. Like since they finished performing that one, they've been working on their next one, but haven't been planning to take that around yet for at least a couple more months.
So they're still in the area on that front. Okay.
Yes.
Ride likely got a little bit of that because I kid you not, when this family start talking on a topic, basically everyone in the family knows about the topic. He at least knows about like the interesting actor with the wings because this family likes this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just, hey, there's a new mother pecker on the scene.
Actually, you also would get with that 22, Lynn, that there had been a sabotage attempt during the opening night of the performance as well that got foiled.
Yeah, Lynn would definitely know about that for
Yeah, for several different reasons.
Yeah.
It basically reads as yes, another disaster in Toontown. It got resolved. Thank God.
Yep.
Everything happens all of the time. This is Toontown.
Yep.
Okay. So maybe we'll be able to talk to the theater company, see how long she's been missing. If they're still paying for her apartment, they got to at least know where she is vaguely.
Indeed, if she turns up to rehearsals and that sort of thing. So we might get a better or a closer time frame on that front, but getting indoors seems like the primary priority.
Might need to
And-
talk to her cousins too.
Potentially. I'll admit, the first point of the matter at this moment is getting in that apartment and seeing if there's
Signs of a struggle or anything like that.
Exactly. Good on you. You're learning.
I'm trying.
And you do just full on just get this very proud smile because Lynn had been about to start ruminating on that exact topic, and so she's just so proud of you, Rye. And so just make your way up to the apartment. I hand you the fact that if they did have to buzz in, Lynn would have just climbed the building.
Rye would have wild shaped into a monkey and just piggybacked up.
Oh god. Should I roll? I'm gonna roll a d2, see if it is a buzz-in building or not. I rolled that and I didn't figure out which one was which before I rolled.
It's normally one for yes, two for no, which is a
Okay.
shame.
Yeah, okay, it's not a buzz-in building, so you guys can walk up. But I mean, we can say it's a buzz-in building if it's because that's kind of funnier if you want.
You know you want to.
Yes, okay, it's a buzz-in building.
Well,
Yes.
Lynn kind of looks at it and she just goes, okay. Now, there are two ways we could do this. One is pick a neighbor and just say we need to be buzzed in. However, I'm sorry, Ms. Crystal, I am a toon. I have got to commit to this bit. I will. How much do you weigh?
Oh, Crystal is very light. Again, stained glass. She is one of the 2D tunes.
All right.
I mean,
Miss
stained glass
Crystal,
can be
have you-
pretty dang heavy.
Miss
Well,
Crystal, have you
yes, but
carried
also she's light.
Yep, fair.
Miss Crystal, have you ever been carried before?
I'm sorry. I'm like I'm laughing because I know who her housemate is.
Yeah.
Rye is sitting there just sort of tapping his chin with his pen going, does that count?
For carrying or riding?
I'm looking directly I'm looking directly at Eeny, Meeny, Miny. I'm looking directly at that trio. I am looking at Mo. I am looking at all of them, and I'm going, yes, I know exactly what's happening out of character. In character, Lynn is just going, how much do you weigh? I can.
I think that just I have been, but are you are you planning on carrying me? You don't. No offense, but you don't look like. And then she trails off, and like that's probably inappropriate to say.
This'll be fun,
Okay.
right, Mom?
It's gonna be fine. Also, ma'am, with the highest respect, I'm a barbarian.
There's
And,
a blink and an oh.
yeah, and oh.
Oh, what did you roll?
Yes!
Oh my gosh. That's a nat 20, folks.
So you've got Lynn. You've got Lynn, who's just basically been insinuated, yeah, I don't think you could carry it. And she's basically in her head going, okay, challenge accepted. Yeah. Walks to the outside of the building, activates that wonderful bit of beast barbarian things she has, which basically gives her a climb speed equal to her walking speed, and she doesn't have to make any rolls for this. And so she just checks the wall, pats one shoulder for Rye to come up if he chooses to polymorph, and then just scoops you.
She probably does make like a surprise like eep like as you do that.
Yep.
Rye has turned into a tiny grey monkey, and he's on Lynn's shoulders.
So cute.
Mm-hmm. And Lynn's carried bigger people. Lynn's carried a vast range of people. Lynn's carried multiple people at once. So she knows how to carry you, especially with that nat 20, how to do it so that she can use all her limbs and get up like efficiently. So it's just, all right, I can see. In fact, can I roll to see like if she can figure out a good place to drop people off? Because like there's normally like a landing or those little open bits in buildings.
Yeah, probably probably like half open staircases that you can like just drop everyone in.
Exactly. Yep. It's just looks around, sees if she can find one of them. Should I roll perception, or do you say there's already that?
I think they're fairly obvious. I don't think you need to roll perception.
Fantastic. All right. You know what? This is actually one of the easier things I've climbed. I've climbed on roofs. I've climbed upside down. That's fun. Let's go. And she just goes.
Nice.
She's heading up. She's got the monkey skills.
Yep. Well, she is a monkey, and you make it to the floor pretty easily. Yeah. And like once you let Crystal down, she's just sort of like readjusts her like her skirt and her glasses, and is just like, right, this way, and we'll lead you to Cassie's door.
Rye's going to pop back into his normal shape and trot after her.
Lynn's gonna take like a moment because, but she's actually having a good day with her sketch for once, so she doesn't actually have to take long. So she's just there, right? Okay. Check the door first.
Yep. If you check the door, it is locked. Crystal has also knocked and called out Cassie, and there has been no response.
Right. Just because of standard policy and because of things that you've said before. And Lynn also knocks this time, just, Ms. Cassie, this is Detective Stagehand. If I don't hear a response, we're coming in. Is that alright?
You get no response.
Alright. Door's locked. Doesn't seem... Should she check whether it's tampered with? I can just... I'm rolling with DM here.
Yeah, you're welcome to roll, see if it's tampered with.
Mm-hmm. Hey! That would be investigation?
Yes.
Alright.
Rye's
18.
going to roll one too because he needs the practice.
Mm-hmm. It's no matter what he gets, Lynn will be... Hey? What did you get?
What did you get? Oh, nice. And just for the hell of it, because Crystal here is here as well, I will roll her own investigation as well.
As Lynn's doing it, she is just quietly pointing out things to Rye to see what he picks up, and he seems to really have been picking this up.
He's trying really hard to be a good detective.
So all three of you will notice the lock doesn't appear to be tampered with.
Okay.
Is there a gap of at least half an inch under or at the side of the door?
I would say under it, yes.
Excellent.
Right? Side door.
You got it. And he's going to drop into his shadow and scooch under the door and pop back up on the other side. And I'm assuming there's just like a little knob or something that he can click on the other side.
Yeah, it's one of those little like like flick ones that you can unlock.
Click. And turn the handle. And pull or push as appropriate.
Yeah. Which way? Doors generally open outwards because of fire hazards. And
My yeah,
fun fact about
Huh.
being an engineer, you do learn these things. Particularly if you need to get a lot of people out of a place fast. That's why outside doors almost always open outward, so that you're not going to get people crushing up against a door that needs to open inwards.
I am looking directly at my front door, which opens inwards.
I'm looking directly at my door, which will open inward, including the fire door. That's
good.
concerning. If I get crushed, I get crushed. It'll be because of salmon garden.
You'll survive. You survive all sorts of toony bullshit.
Yeah, I've literally survived Dalmatians chasing me off a cliff. At this point, nothing can take me out.
The fact that that actually happened is the funniest thing.
I can't believe that. It sounds so ridiculous. It's hilarious.
Pro tip: do not wear bright pink while running in the woods.
Oh dear.
It's basically like a red flag to the bulls. I had 3 Dalmatians who wanted to be my bestest friend, and that cliff very much proved it. I survived! But we don't talk about Dalmatians, we're talking about Crystal and Cassie.
Yes, the door is open now. And you guys step into the apartment. It's a pretty standard one. It's one of the small, like same like one room kitchen dining living area with the 2 doors off the side, which presumably lead to a bedroom and a bathroom. And
We're basically right now. I'm fully lost in this.
Yeah, and it nothing appears to be like there are absolutely no obvious signs of a struggle when you guys enter. And I will allow you to keep the rolls that you did for investigation, or you are welcome to roll new ones if you would like.
I'm keeping my dirty 20.
I'm gonna roll again just for the funsies. Hey! Higher!
Nice.
Higher! I got an 18 before, and this time I got an 18 on the dice, so that is a 23.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Alright, I rolled
And
again for Crystal, and I got a 16 total, so that's slightly less than before.
I will say one thing that Lynn does do is as they go in, it's quite literally she does just put out an arm for a moment just to do the first scan. And she does just go to right, if you've got gloves or anything, I advise putting them on.
Okay.
Do you have
Would you like to describe to me what Lynn is doing in that moment, just a bit more?
But Lynn's quite frankly, moment you stepped in, it's the first thing she does is plant her feet and assess the entire room, just hand out just to make sure that Crystal's behind her for a moment. Of just investigating everything, listening out, seeing if she can hear anything. And just basically looking for, beyond that first bit of everything seems fine, Lynn's been at so many crime scenes. She's been at so many crime scenes, more than any monkey probably should. However, she has. And so she's just basically she's looking for any anomalies, any noise, any activity.
All right.
Even if it just seems at first, it's signs of activity, signs of life.
Okay. Then rolling off of that roll and what you've told me, again, like I said, that nothing at first glance appears to be out of place. The apartment seems pretty normal looking. And it is absolutely dead silent. Like, it's very, very unlikely that someone is in this apartment, or at the very least, no one is moving about the apartment. That much is obvious. You I'm just looking at my notes right now.
You are so valid and we appreciate you.
In the meantime, I can show you a picture of what Rye's gloves have to look like because it makes me giggle.
Oh. Hey!
Oh, that's cute.
He has stick fingers sticking out of an oval shape. It has to be really big.
I kid you not, Network has probably stolen them before to make little bunny puppets. Yes, you are correct. These are bean.
That's very cute. All right. Okay. So, what I can looking the first thing that Lynn will notice is one of the windows across the room is very slightly open.
Mhm.
And the other thing you will notice is actually something in the air smells off.
Right. That's immediately got her on the alert. Is it burning? Is it incense? Gas?
It's not straight away. It's not something obvious. It's not like it's not smoke. It's not gas. It's not anything like that. It does have it probably the closest like to an aroma or an incense, but it leaves a very slight like acrid taste in the back of your mouth.
Right. I don't like that. I do not like that at all.
Rye's going to go and look at the garbage bin in the kitchen to see if he can figure out how long it's been sitting there.
It's going to the kitchen or normally in this sorts of thing you look for activity of life, like if there's food on the table, if there's teacups, coffee cups, that sort of thing, to try and see if someone left in a hurry. So Lynn's doing a glance for that, in a way.
Okay. I think I'll go with Lynn first. Lynn, nothing looks out of place. Like there's absolutely no sign that anything was left in a rush or anything like that. In fact, the more you look, it's actually a little bit odd that there is absolutely nothing that is out of place.
Meticulous. Either she left willingly or someone made it so. Alright. The last thing that Lynn's going to do is go and look for, like, see if she can figure out where the scent is coming from. But cut over to Rye, because honestly, he's a good boy.
Yo, Rye, you've looked at the bin. There is food stuff in it. Like it's a pretty standard bin. You would say the stuff in there. Okay, you got a 20 on your investigation, so probably getting close to a week old. You also notice that there appears to be like uh, uh like broken things, yeah, like a couple of glasses, maybe like a couple of CDs cases that are broken that are in there. That's kind of unusual for to be in the bin.
That's weird. Hey, Mom.
You found something?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like broken glass and CD cases in the bin.
Right. Miss Crystal, where did you say the fight that you had with your sister? Was it here?
No, it was in my apartment.
Right, so this is This is very odd.
What were you fighting over?
Would you like to roll insight?
I would love to roll insight.
We would both very much like to roll insight on this wonderful stained glass bean.
That's not the right button. Ah! Come back. There we go. What's your insight? Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice. 19.
Nice. Yeah, you know, I guess 17 and a 19. I really don't think a 5 cuts it. No.
Yeah, she definitely looks very uncomfortable when you asked her that. And I might have told her the real reason that Mum died and about her latent magical energy.
Rye doesn't have any context for that particular set of words, but he's writing it down in his notebook nonetheless.
Okay. I think you're going to need to clarify that statement due to the nature of a death being incorporated into all of this.
She looks even more uncomfortable. How do I our mother died of sorry, I am just completely blanking on words right now, so give me a moment.
Yeah.
You are incredibly valid.
Why
to-
are words not coming to me right now? I know the word I want and it's like at the edge of my mind, and every time I grasp it, it just pushes it away instead.
Hop in the
Yeah.
shower, that always works.
The word I'm looking for is like not enough, and the word that keeps coming to mind is like malnourishment, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
Like malnourishment? Like, is he like, as in like dehydrated or stuff
No,
like that?
like
Or?
a lack of like
Deficiency?
yes, that's it. That's the word I'm looking for.
We got there.
Thank
Teamwork.
you. Yeah, she says,
Oh.
our mother died many years ago, from exposure to an unknown magical source that, caused her to, have magical deficiency that, eventually killed her.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thanks. It was a while ago. Cassie had the reverse. She has too much dormant magic.
Right.
Right,
And,
writing this down.
and she didn't take too well to the revelations of all of this.
Not with the way it came out. I wasn't very. It. Their conditions were linked.
Linked. So your mother was losing magic and your sister was gaining magic?
Taking it.
Rye's gonna roll an Arcana. He's gonna be like, wait, what?
Roll
Yeah,
that
no,
Arcana,
that's a
boy!
4. Nope. That's a total of 9. That's like it doesn't
Do we
make
want
sense, but I don't know enough about that shit to know any better.
do we want Lynn to roll just for shits and giggles?
You're welcome
Go on.
to.
Alright, that is Arcana. Lynn does not know Arcana, but somehow she's done a little bit better than her boy, which is amusing to me because
It's amusing every time it happens.
as I get to say as I press enter, it's peckin' magical bullshit. 13.
Alright, what exactly are you trying to find out with the Arcana? Like, just more information about that?
Trying to understand this shit.
Um,
Lynn's words, not mine.
yeah, it's not something you've heard of before, but, I think it maybe makes sense a little bit why Lynn would put things together more than Riot, because, probably can understand the implications of what, Crystal is, not really saying, which is that, was, she told her sister that she took her mother's magic.
Yeah, but honestly, Lynn's a bit of a brick wall to a window sort of situation when she tries to say stuff sometimes. So she can kind of see just like the train wreck incoming on that front of just how that kind of conversation could go, and there is just a very quiet ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
And Crystal's, like, expression is like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lynn's nodding. And your sister, just as a question, is she one prone to outbursts of anger in these sorts of moments?
And I'm gonna roll off of that 5 deception she rolled before. There is a definite another wince. Uh, no, not usually. She's honestly pretty good, but she definitely didn't take it well that time. And she is rubbing a little bit at her arms.
Right.
Wait, you
so
said your mother died a while ago.
Yes.
So, but okay. He pulled out his notebook again. He's like, mother died when Cassie was 10. Okay, but you said you had your fight with her not that long ago. Did she not know before then?
3 weeks ago. We had the fight 3 weeks ago, and no,
3 weeks ago.
she did not know before that.
Did anybody else know before that?
and why did she not?
Our father knew, aunt who lives, far, Evershore. Aunt lives in Evershore. I think she might have known. I don't know. We, I mean, she was so young. It didn't know how to tell her. Was we were trying to fix it before she. I should have told her before now. I should have told her.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad, Miss Crystal. I just wanted to make sure I've got all the things written down. Because, yeah, I would think that anybody would be upset.
It's an incredibly difficult topic to talk about. Things like this, it can be hard to talk about such things to family. When we love people, we want to keep them safe.
Yeah, I didn't want her to have to live with it, but it backfired really bad.
We'll find her, and we'll do our best to rebuild this connection. It's going to be hard. It's going to take work from both of you and communication. But if you put in the effort, there is a chance.
Yeah. I just. I know maybe she will hate me, but I just want her to be safe.
Indeed. It's admirable. You've done the best that you could. And I'm sorry that you have been put in this situation.
Should I? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna roll for that. Yep, she's fine. Yeah, she looks grateful, and then her expression, sort of becomes more serious and like, right, we need to get back on track, and she's, so what now? Did,
Right. A clarifying question, I presume. The scent in the air, I'm not sure whether that's just old heightened senses playing up on that one. Your sister's magic or incense, is there anything that she often uses? This doesn't seem quite right.
no, it's, well, fairly typical of, like, hairspray, maybe. She's a performer, so there's always, but generally she likes more like floral scents, smell, and she is trying to see if she can smell anything.
All right. I want to check that bin in greater detail, and I want to see if I can find that scent.
That's a 3. I don't think she's getting, like, even with a +8, I don't think she's getting anywhere with that.
Can Lynn work to try and find the source of the smell? Like, the window's open, so it's clearly being ventilated. But if it's been like for a while, then there's probably like a source, something in here that can be, identified.
Yeah. Do you want? I'm gonna make you roll for that one. Again.
Yeah. Do it.
Oh, what did you get?
Monkey, 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 monkey.
Nice.
Oh wow. Okay. Your search.
This is Monkey Who Knows. This is Investigator Monkey. You full on got not Lynn, but Detective Stagehand.
Nice. Well, just first I.
Rye is still looking around the kitchen a little bit now. He can't smell what Lynn can, and there is only one way he could even remotely hope to, but he doesn't really want to do that right now. Because we haven't unpacked that yet.
No, we haven't. We will at some stage. She's in therapy now. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. So I suppose he's going to go and see if he can find Cassie's bedroom and see if there's any sign of like clothes being taken or anything that looks out of place in there.
Yep. Did you want to roll another investigation for that? Like, I mean, there are 2 doors. I don't think it's going to take you much to find the bedroom, but just what you find in there.
Sure.
Lynn.
Just for shits and giggles, roll to see which one he goes in first, and just out of the movement, is it going to be not the bedroom first?
Yeah,
okay,
that would
cool.
be funny.
Well, I mean, he got a 21 on his
nice.
He went to the right room.
his what do you call it? Investigation. So I'm just going to roll a d2. 1, it's the one on the left, and 2, it's the one on the right. The one on the left.
Okay. I think that is the bedroom. Yes. Yes, that would be the bedroom.
Sweet.
Aww. Dang it.
Sorry, Lynn, because I'm at least in my mind the way I've got it is the doors are on the right side, like the right hand side from when you enter, and the one closest to, like, it has an outside window. So the one closest to the kitchen is the bathroom, so that would be the left one that is the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we will get back to Rai in a moment. Lynn, you have found the source of the smell. It is coming from the bin.
All right. She's already wearing gloves because safety. Also, really ruined hand. That is never going to properly recover. So it's just, all right. What? All right. What do we have in here? This little cluster pick, eh? And she's just gonna very, very carefully. Actually, she's unseen servant. So she goes to like investigate and then goes, wait, what am I doing? And she does just full on just stand up and do the components and the casting of Unseen Servant. And so now she is not going to directly come into contact with whatever the hell is in this bin. What's in this bin, Candle? What's in the bin?
Okay, well, there are a lot of things that you would probably find in a bin, you know, packaging, like food containers, packaging from food containers, scraps of old food, like other odds and ends from like just doing stuff around the house, like tissues or I don't know what else ends up in a bin, like just off the top of my head, but that
Yeah.
also have, like Rai pointed out, there are a bunch of things that don't really feel like they should belong in a bin. Things like some shattered like uh cups,
CD
like glass
cases
cups,
and
and
stuff.
some CD cases, and um there looks like there's some pieces of a vase in there, and a couple of things that look like they've been, like, I guess thrown against a wall.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing, but they're all items that you would find in a house.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing that does seem out of place, and it's the shards of like, definitely it doesn't make a entire thing, so you can't quite tell what it was, but it's like shards of some sort of container that the smell is coming off of.
Right, Lynn's immediately she's got a jumper on, she is just pulling it partway up so it's over her nose, and she's having the unseen servant hold it out. Could she roll, what would you say, investigation, nature? There isn't exactly a thing for
Yeah,
survival.
I'm trying to figure out what you would roll for this. I'd say you could probably roll a history. I would take history or investigation. I would take nature or survival, or yeah, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Even an arcana, but even though I don't think I don't think that, right, that Lynn would do very well with that one, but I will offer that one up to you as well.
Yeah, please, no to Arcana. She's picking magical bullshit. All right. And the
While
answer to,
you're
I'm
doing
gonna
that,
go with.
I figured we'd move back to Rai, with the
Yeah.
bedroom.
Yep, you do that. I am happy to wait. I am loving every moment of this.
Rai, you rolled a 21. The bedroom, okay, first off, like, you definitely, just coming off, you can tell a lot about Cassie as a person, because this room is very colorful and very cluttered. There's like a decent sized like double bed with bright patterned quilt, and that is absolutely covered in like teddies and pillows and blankets. There are like posters around the room. You can see uh, pause and and I cannot for I'm completely blanking on their name at the moment. But I want to say Azure, like um who
Oh,
does
Jazz's one. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Savanzo's nephew. Yeah, cool.
Um and some posters
Yep.
of Vava as well, and like some movie posters of Vava, and that's as well as some of more recent ones of um you see like a newspaper clipping with her in the center performing on a stage, and there are a bunch of photos of you recognize Crystal, and there's another slightly taller toon that looks very similar to her that you think maybe her dad, and her standing with a thin blue-haired uh, guy and a small green-haired child, and all sorts of things across the walls.
I'm just gonna roll a history real quick. Okay, so that's not super great. I think it's going to take him a hot second of looking around. I don't think he's actually going to twig this until he leaves the room. So I'm not going to say what he's noticed and or remembered, because that was a total of 9, I think. No, not 7 plus 9. You stupid. 7 plus 2. You do not have a 9 in history. That's your sister. Your sister is the history nerd. No, okay, total of 9. I think he'll twig that he recognizes some of those people as he leaves the room. But for now, he's just sort of going to have a good, solid look around. Having had admired the decor and her choice in media consumption, because I really like studio stuff. He doesn't know who Azure is, but he knows Vava and he knows Moves and the engineer and all them. So he's like, okay, cool.
Nice.
But he's now going to be looking for things that are out of place. Like he'll look in the bedside drawers and see if there's a suitcase or anything like that.
All right, I can tell you that it doesn't look like anything has been taken from the room. And
Mhm.
as you were investigating, it becomes very obvious that there are things that are in here that are definitely out of place, and have been tried to have been hidden, but didn't do a very good job of it.
Mhm.
For instance, there is more cracked stuff in the bin next to the desk. Um, there's like things like wool caught like stuff on her bedside table and in the drawer. There are some like scrapes on the wall. There's there looks like a teddy that has been eaten by acid, maybe. And several scorch marks that have been tried to be rubbed off the walls. You count 7 in total. And like in the back of her closet, there is bed sheets that are covered in grease stains.
Huh. I know what that is. So I'm going to roll him an Arcana to see if he can twig. What's your Arcana? Oh, it's a +5. Okay, so that makes that a 16. Is there any like residual magic sort of feeling in the air, or
Oh,
can he
definitely.
get anything? Yeah? Okay. Does Rye know what wild magic is?
Does Ryan know what mild magic is?
I'm gonna roll that Arcana again.
I will say
Okay.
the magic in the air definitely feels like it's getting old, but it feels like there was probably a fair amount of it a little while ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he got a 17 on that other arcana to see if he actually knows what wild. Maybe not in super huge detail, but like, he's looking around going, okay, that, and that, and that. Either there was lots of spellcasters in here, or okay, and he's gonna just sort of stick his head out of the bedroom door.
Miss Crystal, you said that your sister was a bard?
Yes. Why?
You know lots of magic medicine stuff, so you probably know what wild magic is, right?
Um, I'm not even gonna roll for that. She does. I am going to roll her an intelligence though. Whoop, that's the wrong one. Well, that's a 16 plus 5.
Nice.
So I also need to roll this. Oh, good.
Oh.
That's not good. That's average.
So there is the dots connect and she's like, "What? No." And then she's just like pushing past you right to like go into the room to see for herself.
And
And
Rose just gonna point it out as
That, and that, and that, they're all different. And I mean, I'm not super up to date on wild magic. I think I read something. I do a book club with some of my other wizard friends, and I think I read something about it once. How they like sometimes their magic will just decide, nope, we're not doing that. We're gonna do something random, and like it seems like unless there was a whole bunch of people in here who then kidnapped her and cleaned her apartment on the way out. There's this and that and that, and these sheets, and the bear. You sure she wasn't this sorcerer? You said there was a thing about magic. She could have been both.
no, this. Please, no. I can't. Why now? Uh, this isn't good.
Is it to do with what happened to your mother?
Uh, you remember how I said that her magic was dormant?
Mm-hmm. You think it's not so much anymore?
Very much worried that's the case.
Okay. So maybe she wasn't kidnapped, she ran away?
I, I, I don't know. I want to say that she wouldn't, but then after after how she responded, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, this isn't good.
Hmm. Um, let me think. What
Uh,
could we do? Is there something she would have on her that she would always have on her that might be in some of the pictures of her?
I will get back to you on that. Because I
Sure
think
thing.
it's probably about time we go back to Lynn. And the was it an investigation you rolled?
Yes, it was. It was a 17.
All right. Yeah, I think that is enough. That you can piece together what this is, what you're smelling. Maybe you've had a case that this was involved in before, but like being able to see the residue on the back of these pieces, and also get a bit of a better smell of it even through your like the covering on your face. um you can tell that this is essence of ether.
Hmm.
Quietly googling it.
I can give you guys a link if you would like.
Yes, please do. I'm very curious. Lynn, as I've said before, Lynn has been on a lot of cases. That's probably where she's got it from. Because, yeah, I kid you not. This monkey,
Oh,
This monkey used to go through about 10 cases a week.
oh, that's not good.
Yo,
Distinctly not good.
Right. Okay. Oh. Lynn had feared it was going to be something like this the moment she got acrid smell. This is right. You two, what have you found?
I think she might have wild magic, but apart from that, I don't think anything.
All right.
Did you find something?
Yes.
Is it bad?
Miss Crystal, I would advise you perhaps sit down.
um okay. You may be noticing Crystal pacing around the bedroom. I don't know if she's listening to you. I should roll a perception for that, probably.
It's Lynn knows how to get attention. She will go. Miss Crystal,
That's a 6.
do you want me to roll persuasion?
You might have to.
Right. Okay. Just let me go back. Let me go back. What is your? I'm rolling persuasion. Lynn, holy shit, your persuasion is damn decent. I did not realize that you had quite that good modifier on that, but
Nice.
But
Nice.
what she does watch Miss Crystal pace. Waits until she's near the bed again, and then just kind of steps. And she is a golden monkey. She makes sure that and she just goes, Ms. Crystal?
Uh, sorry. Yes.
Yes. Hi. As a detective, I would advise for you to sit down.
Uh, okay. And she sits.
Okay. I have reason to believe that this case is not a runaway. That this is. You've said wild magic was involved. This was a kidnapping. There are clear signs of a struggle, and something I have found in the bins, the smell I informed you about earlier. It's essence of ether. It's a type of poison. It's used for knocking people out, in a sense.
Bri is writing that down.
It's the fact that the window was open, the fact that someone clearly went through all of this effort. I believe whoever did this tried to come in the middle of the night. Your sister fought back, explaining the wild magic, but was likely overpowered. The fact that everything was removed in such a way as to make it seem as though the place was well organized, this was calculated. For some reason or another, they wanted your sister, possibly related to her magic.
I don't
It's okay.
understand.
It's
Who
okay.
would? But she didn't
It's
have
okay.
wild magic 3 weeks ago.
Then it perhaps might be related to other factors. It could have manifested after the fact of 3 weeks ago, and people picked up on this. If she hasn't been seen, if she hasn't been active, but people could have tracked that, or it could be. How did you say your mother was involved originally? You said it was due to a magical incident. How did that occur?
It was we were exploring ruins. In it was Furuma. I can't. Stackies. That's the name of the town. Ruins past Stackies. That we were exploring them, and something something happened. There was a flash. I can't. It was a really long time ago. I can't tell you more than that.
It's all right. It's all right. You've done more than enough. Okay.
Who was there when that incident happened?
It was just us. It was myself and my parents, my dad, my mum. Yeah, it was just the three of us. Well, I mean, kind of technically, Mum was carrying Cassie at the time.
Ah.
Oh, okay. Write that down.
Actually, things that have been happening for a while. Perhaps. Ms. Crystal, you said that your sister's mail had been intercepted for a while.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You've talked to her since then. Did she explain anything that she'd put into this mail? Anything that could be sensitive? Anything that could be, upon being intercepted, found interesting by outside parties?
I don't know. I mean, they were of her adventures. And well, apparently most of them were about wanting to. Right, I haven't told that yet. Might have had a fight before she left to go adventuring, and I said I wasn't going to talk to her, so maybe the letters were asking me to get back in touch.
Right.
Write that down.
Okay. We got wild magic surge that could have been brought on by heightened emotions. We've got a established partial time frame. We've got assailants, but not much more beyond that.
How long has your mail been going missing? It was a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically from when she left, I didn't get anything until we reunited.
Who else would know about this mailing system? You've said a father.
Yes. Our dad moved to Toontown recently.
Where was the mail going to? If there was going to be mail going to anywhere, does she use buddy plane, or how was she meant to transmit it?
The paper aeroplane system. Because I have had to travel with my research, so she knew that I wouldn't necessarily be at the last place I was at.
So that takes some effort. Those planes fly fast.
You have to know someone.
Rye's writing all of this down.
Right. The fact that no one next door or anything reported anything on this matter, these people are efficient. Really efficient.
It wasn't noisy or anything.
The door was locked, so the way that they would have come in potentially would be the window. So we're looking at pretty agile people or people with an interesting level of magic.
Rye's gonna go and stick his head out the window. See what he can see.
I mean, yeah, you want to roll an investigation or perception for that?
I do!
Stick his head out real far.
Thank goodness he gets advantage on that. Okay, that's not stellar, boya, but you know, it's better than a poke in the eye with the stick. That's 13.
Okay, well, you definitely can't see anything obvious out the window. But I mean, there are buildings fairly close by. And I mean, your mum managed to scale the building. Though might have been like there's less like ledges and stuff to like uh to get in and open windows, so it would have taken more, probably some more acrobatics than what your mum managed. But I mean, definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Rye's just gonna sort of pull his head back in and look around.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an escape route possible here. It's kind of like our old neighborhood.
Ah! And I know how easy it is to scale those buildings. Corp learned how to do it. Then again, Corp likes climbing things and getting donkey kicked off things, so honestly, not surprising. Alright. So we've got an idea of how. We've got several avenues of why, but the question is where, so where now? She could have been gone for a week. She could have been gone for... Right. We could be dealing with the trade, I don't know.
We might have to ask some people, see who saw her last.
Indeed, if there's a potential with the neighbours. Right.
You said her had cousins that she's seen a lot. Could we ask them?
Alright, I just rolled another Whis save for Crystal. That was a 19, so 19 plus 5. She's taking this well. I suppose the shock has sort of settled in. I think she's more in the, then you might recognize this. She's in the, I have something.
Yeah, Lynn straight up jumps into that mode. Feet first, too many times to count, and she knows this one. Just, okay, we are not going to let this one slip into the apathy, and we're not going to let this one slip into the despair. This is a safe mode for now.
Yep, for now.
This is the good zone. This is the good zone. We're in the green for now.
Yep, Crystal blinks, and yep, focuses in on Rye. Cousins, yes. They also live in Toontown. I need to roll a. Would she know where they live?
Yeah, Chifley gave Crystal their address.
Ah, cool. Okay. I'm gonna assume she has that written down. So I'm gonna roll another hammer space.
I find this vaguely amusing because Lynn might know that one from the sheer reports she had to write with the baby fighting ring.
There's a picture of them on the wall, and Ryan hasn't recognized them yet. He's gone, oh yeah, there's some people, and like they're gonna walk out the door and go, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Just rolled a 7 on that. It's true.
I'm gonna roll for Lynn for funsies on that one.
Yeah, I rolled a 5 on the on the hammer space roll, so she pulls out the address and she shows it off to you.
Okay. with that history roll, she looks it over and she nods, and then she kind of does a double take, and then just under her breath goes, "Baby, fighting ring."
Wait, what? What? Huh?
Crystal also thinks, I beg your pardon?
Recognize the address from a pro I had to write before. Baby fighting ring.
There's
I
gonna be
know these-
dot,
I
dot,
know these
dot.
people.
Oh, there's a picture of them on the wall. We know them.
Yeah. Missy and Chifley? Question mark.
That sounds right. Ford. Her last name was Ford. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
just a look of recognition and then I don't want to know anymore. Please, for my own sanity.
Just wait until you find out what Missy did at school yesterday.
Oh god. Alright. Well, at least we've got a situation there, so we know some people.
I will say, probably in your investigations, you did probably find like Cassie's key card to her like work
Mm-hmm.
as well.
That,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Okay. So she's not left for work, obviously. She's been kidnapped, unknown location. This keycard would have been good for ID purposes of locate object and such, but we can find something else. Would her wings work in that? No, they're part of her key design, not an item, I don't think. Is there anything she would have on her? Necklace, earring, lucky charm, focus?
Headphones. Her headphones.
Headphones.
Her arcane focus. I highly doubt she would have left without them.
Alright. Rai, if you can go in the other room, see if you can locate anything, any ID, photographs, anything of that sort. See if you can find them.
Oh yeah. I think I saw some before. One sec.
Do you want me to roll again?
I mean, they're on the wall. I don't think you need to roll.
All right, he's going to very, very carefully, because he knows what tape and blue tack can do if you're a bit too rough. Take the picture down. I think he's going to go with the one that's Cassie and Chifley and Missy, and just sort of pull it off the wall and then bring it back over and pop it down in front of them.
Here we go.
All right. You have locate object, which isn't useful at this very moment due to distance, most likely, but it is something that we're going to want if we can find closer locations. All right.
Well, I can always try it if it'll tell us if she's nearby or not.
Good idea. Just in case it's... Every now and then you have a case when it turns out the person's been in the basement. Hopefully not. There was an entire case at one stage. There was a cask, there was a basement, guy got bricked in. It was a whole case.
Oh,
It was an
fantastic.
interesting one, I'll admit. As I said, Lynn has been on so many cases. You will not believe the amount of cases this monkey has been on. She can lampshade a lot of things.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay,
so
let's
good.
give this a try.
What do you need to roll for that? Or do you need to roll anything?
No, locate object doesn't seem to have a role to it. So it says describe or name an object that is familiar to you. You sense the direction of the object's location as long as that object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the object is in motion, you know the direction of its movement.
I need to
This
need to do a
spell
conversion
cannot.
of what 1,000 feet is in metric.
Yeah.
Alright. What do you want it in, meters or miles?
Meters.
Alright, that is 304.
Alright, yep. You're welcome to roll then. No, you didn't have to roll then. So you cast the spell?
Mm-hmm.
You do get a ping.
Oh. Oh. Hang on.
You got something?
Yeah.
All right. Where?
It's real close actually. Like it's maybe neat, like the TV is sitting on one of those little cupboard things. It's coming from that direction.
Ryder sort of stops and turns towards the TV unit.
I've got a bad feeling. Okay.
And he's gonna go and follow that feeling and like open the TV cabinet cupboards and whatnot and look behind and see if he can see.
Yeah. You search in there and you find a pair of colorful headphones with one blue side and one yellow side.
Don't. Not so great news. The headphones are here.
Mierda. All right.
She doesn't have her spell focus.
No. And you said she doesn't take them off, so. Great. So, we've got a caster without their spell focus. That's incredibly less than ideal. Right. This is the time I'd normally demand a coffee and go on a swearing streak, but we ain't got time for that shit, so. Who in this area could be the culprit? Who could be? Would you allow an intelligence check or something to see if. Because Lynn's got ideas, but quite frankly, she's sitting here going, hmm.
Yeah, go for it. You're welcome to roll an intelligence.
Hey, pretty damn decent. Intelligence is a +4. Okay. Da. This kid is pecked. 22.
All right. So, did you want to like give me your ideas and I can point you in a direction, or what would you like?
From what Lynn knows, is she knows that there was one, possibly more assailants who were able to break into this place pretty damn efficiently and clear it up afterwards. Had Essence of Ether, so got at least pretty damn decent resources, especially with that pricing on it. Or that could just be, anyone can find anything at the black market. We know she hasn't got a spell focus, that it could be possibly related to her wild magic, especially if her emotions flared. The fact that she's been missing and didn't make certain appointments, the fact that her spell focus is here, and the fact that her mail has been intercepted for a long time, so it could be related to her adventures. But right now, Lynn's just basically ticking over all of this and background experience of being a detective to see if she can figure out a gang, an idea, a place to start looking for culprits.
Okay. Well,
What are you willing to give me, mighty candle? What are you willing to give me?
I'm
And yes, I did the dramatic.
I'm just trying to think. Okay, everything you have seen so far tells you this was a professional hit. This wasn't this wasn't something small. That doesn't necessarily narrow it down, because in some ways it does and in some ways it doesn't, because it means that it limits the people that it could be from, like, I suppose an immediate area pool, but that also means that it could be someone from further out, like essentially, like um yeah, because professional
Far out as for
people,
rumor.
yeah, basically, professional people distance becomes less of an object of obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Lynn should know. She knows people who've been kidnapped to goddamn Faruma.
Yeah, pretty much. So, um, that basically, I can't. I mean, that's a really good role. I don't think like you would. Lynn would have names and stuff of potential people or gangs or stuff popping in her head, but that's all just based on the fact that okay, they're professional enough to pull this off, but what sort of reason would they have? You don't have any sort of like ties that way to it, like so you can't narrow it down in that regard. You're probably going to need more to go off of to narrow it down from what you have currently. But you do have at least some good places to start in terms of where you might find some more information. In that you haven't talked to anyone that might have seen Cassie recently. And I will give you three candidates, like, or groups of candidates that jump to mind of where you could go next. You do have their cousins, which seems like like a pretty good candidate because you know that Cassie has been in contact with them recently, and they were the ones to first notice that she'd disappeared. And they live nearby, or at least close enough. You have the people that she works with, because I mean she works with them, so they would probably see her at a fairly day-to-day point and maybe have more information about her the goings on in her, like maybe in some of her adventures or something like that. I mean, you're likely to get background information on her from both them and her cousins. And then the last group of people is you could talk to some of her neighbors, see if because at the very least they might be able to give you a time frame of when they'd last seen her or something like that, or if they saw anything, or that sort of information.
That is where she was thinking of going to next on that front. It's neighbours, I mean. It's the other two mean leaving the area, which is what they're going to have to do, and Lynn's going to have to start getting in contact with her informants, because, yeah, she's got a wonderful network of those. Literally as a background feature, and just in general, she knows some interesting people. But, yeah, it would be contact the neighbours first, because surely someone must have heard something, even if it was just like a scream. That there would have been suspicious activity, perhaps. Someone seeing something out a window, hearing something on a certain night. Just...
And if her magic was going wild, you'd think someone would notice it that at least.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where Lynn's going on this one. We have ideas, we have theories, we have many thoughts. Teen's been yoinked for a bit, so... It's Lynn. The reality in shoes in Lynn's head is going, oh, heck.
Yep.
She does not like any of this. She especially does not like the ensuing time frame of events and a professional. This blessed girl could probably be possibly halfway packaged to Faruma at this point. We don't know.
Yep. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. That's to ask more questions.
Yeah. And you know what? Just to add a moment of levity, Lynn's just going to go, okay. My least favourite part of being a detective. Talking to the public. Let's go.
Just before we do that, we have been running for a while. How are people doing?
Loving it.
I can go for another half hour before it starts to get a bit too late, because I know that my daughter is still awake in the other room and needs to not be in half an hour at maximum. But beyond that, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll see how we go. I might not be able to wrap it all up this session, but we can organize another time to do it.
Indeed. We speedrun finding the child. The child is actually in the basement.
Technically, Rye does have locate creature as well. He could try that.
I mean, isn't locate creature and locate person different spells?
Um.
Right,
Yeah.
sweetheart, I love you. That basically means find the Toon in the Toon building. I know that is a good spell to be using in Toontown.
Well, I mean, it says you can locate a specific creature known to you, so it's not just the nearest. But yes, no, you are quite right. It is. It says. No, it says here, like, the spell can locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of a specific kind, such as human or a unicorn. So because it says human or a unicorn, I don't know that...
Okay, that's interesting, because I thought they were different spells.
Huh.
I can't quite get over the unicorn is on that list. I mean, logically, same time. Ha.
Okay, give me a moment. I just want to have a look at this.
No, I don't think there is a locate person specifically, because I just googled it and locate creature came.
Mm-hmm.
It may not...
There's locate object versus locate creature, but
It may not just have that distinction in this particular case.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. What's the radius of that?
It's the same as locate object, so it's 1,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So 300 odd meters. Can't
Yeah.
even get a whole kilometer out of it. Ridiculous. I suppose it's only a 4th level spell, but still.
This is the information we know.
Mm.
Alright. Do you want to do anything with that spell, or is this just a...
I think Rye will try it just to rule out the basement.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, you're welcome to use it.
Okay. He will.
We always rule out the basement. The basement theory is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll wave his little stick wand and he will cast that.
Yeah, well, she's not in the building.
Okay, good.
She's not in the basement!
Good.
Curses!
I mean, that's bad, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worse than looking everywhere and then finding her in the basement.
Well,
Yeah.
she's always going to be in the last place we look.
True that.
Fingers crossed. We don't just open a cupboard, go, "Oh, hi, Cassie," and then look somewhere else.
Yeah, pretty
That
much.
would be funny, if only to prove the saying wrong.
Out of character, I have actually had that happen where I've played hide and go seek and the person literally just looked past me and didn't see me and had to come back 3 times later.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It can happen.
Oh dear. All right. Are we talking to some neighbours?
Yes.
We're talking to some neighbours.
All right.
Right, you know your mum.
Okay. Just whose door are you knocking on? And I'm going to get you to roll something. I might have to get you to roll persuasion or something like that.
I'm going
Yep.
to roll persuasion, and Rye's going to go towards the door on the left.
Rye's
Okay.
going left, Lynn's going right. If Rye's going left, Lynn's going right. You're always in the right.
A lady is always right unless she's improper.
I for shits and giggles, I rolled perception for the people. That you knocked on the door, right? That was a 4. I don't think you might have to roll louder, like knock louder.
Okay. Can I argue for something else? Like, no, never mind. All of the other appropriate rolls are just as bad as this one. That's fine.
Lynn, how did you roll so goddamn good on your goddamn persuasion this once. You have the tact of a brick through a window. How?
Oh, that's a nat 20. um, I'm gonna roll.
That-
I'm gonna roll for Crystal to help out Rye.
Yeah, please.
Please.
In fact,
Oh,
you know what?
Yep, that's pretty good.
Rye, you're also having a bardic inspiration cast on you as Lynn gives you a thumbs up. Just, you got this.
Okay. Am I adding a d6 for this one?
Yes, you are. Or you can use it in the future. If you just look at your mum and go, Mum, she will give you another thumbs up.
I think I'll hold on to it for now just because that was an 18 for Crystal helping him.
I think she maybe knows, because Crystal's been here a couple of times, so she knows, and so she calls out the name, and I don't have names for the neighbors, so there's,
Neighborino.
yeah, Neighborino, who's probably like a blind old granny, sort of like nearsighted granny character, comes to the door. It's like, oh, hello, dearies. Can I help you?
Hello, ma'am. My name is Junior Detective Little Rice Stagehand. Was wondering if you could answer a few questions for me, please.
Oh, a detective. You look a
Yes,
little.
ma'am.
You look a little young to be a detective. Been doing this for long?
I am a junior detective, ma'am. And no, I am quite new.
Well, very well, dearie. What can I do for you?
Can you please tell us the last time that you saw your neighbor who lives on this side of you?
I'm going to roll.
It,
Oh.
it took it took everything in Lynn not to yell, You're doing amazing, sweetie!
He's trying his hardest.
She has she has restraint, she has tact, she has tact, she has tact, she has tact. She does have tact!
Oh, the little fairy lady. Yes, lovely girl. Very polite. Can be a bit noisy sometimes. I but like I am a bit hard of hearing, so it doesn't bother me as much as it does some of the people down this hall.
Raya's writing this down.
When was the last time that you saw her?
Well, let's see. Was it? I don't know if it was. It wasn't. No. Was it before then? But then Kathy came around last week, and it was. Was it before then or after when the mail truck arrived? I. I'm not
Please just picture
sure.
Raya's just standing there throughout this ramble and he's just gone from very vibrant to, that very flat kind of expression.
The expression on Crystal's face is that very forced, polite smile. It's
I'm,
just the
Mhm.
I. I'm sorry. I maybe. Oh, it's been over maybe a week. I think. I'm not sure.
Okay. Have you heard or seen anything strange or out of the ordinary recently?
Well, I mean, she has been noisier past couple of weeks than she usually is. Um, Poor dear, it doesn't seem like she's been having a very good time.
Anything in particular?
Well, it's hard to say. I'm a little bit hard of hearing. But like sometimes late at night, can be some strange, strange sounds coming from her apartment. Very sporadic.
What kind of sounds, ma'am?
Well, hmm. You know what? How do you describe? Uh, well, there's been a bit of banging and some noise and say just the other day there was a loud was it dubstep coming from her apartment?
Dubstep.
You
Okay.
know, you youngins and your music choices. Well, you're allowed to like what you like.
Okay, but she hasn't listened to that kind of thing before. It's more recent.
Maybe I'd perhaps. I I am not sure. I don't. I can't tell that sort of music apart. She does like her music. I think it was different though.
Okay. I have one more question, ma'am. Have you noticed any out of the ordinary visitors?
She does look a little bit pointedly at Crystal, and the um uh and
Present company excluded, please, ma'am.
well, okay, if you're sure. Well, I know this young lady. I've seen her a few times coming to the apartment, and not getting the door answered, and to be fair, it does seem like. You sure you're alright, dearie? You don't need any help, do you? And she might be going on a tangent, and you might want to get. I think Crystal goes, like, we're working it out, miss. If you could. Well, not that I know of.
Okay. Thank you very much for your cooperation, ma'am. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, anytime, dearie. Best of luck with your detective work.
Thank you.
You're gonna flip back close his little notebook and nod and give a very small little salute and step back from the door.
Yeah, she will shut the door. Then you get on your side of things, you get the door thrown when you knock open almost immediately, and there's a what?
Ah, hello there. My name is Detective Stagehand. I am here on an active investigation. I would like to ask you a few questions, please.
Investigation, you say? What sort?
A missing person. And at this point, she's going to take a quick look up and down of the person that she's looking at. Just, who are you?
I will say you've got a bit of a squarish red UPAN toon who looks very angry.
Can she guess pronouns?
Um, they didn't seem to mind the sir, so you can assume that he him they was probably fine.
Fantastic. All right. Fingers crossed this goes well. Fingers crossed we don't fight anyone. She doesn't want to fight anyone. Well, actually, she does want to fight people. She does want to fight people today, but not the neighbors. That is bad for rapport. It's a missing person case, sir, related to Cassie, your neighbor on the left.
Oh, that one. Yeah, been noisy lately. Been quiet for a while now. Honestly, it's been been good. What? She disappear or something?
That is what we are trying to find out. You said that it's been quiet recently. By any chance, have you got a time frame on that matter?
Yeah, I sure do. Was Been Monday, I think. Monday it's been quiet. Made a real ruckus on the Sunday, though.
Oh? What kind of ruckus?
Well, I don't know, party or something or the like. I don't know. They're just loud music, sharp and fast. Must have turned the stereo on and had it too loud or something like that.
Alright. And have you noticed any suspicious activity recently? Any vehicles outside? People that have been milling about? You know loiterers.
Well, I mean, other than any gestures, the female behind you turning up every couple of days to bang on the door and to annoy us. Again, that did peter out after a week or so. Not really. Can tell you though, she did have company.
Oh?
Yeah, saw him go in there. Average height, thin, twig-like, blue hair. Seen him here before. Visits her often.
Okay, business. One moment. Junior Detective Stagehand? Can I borrow the photo? You had a photo earlier.
Yes. 1 second, detective. He's gonna grab the photo. I got it.
Alright. Fantastic. And she's going to turn back to the person and go, is this the person that you were talking about? And she's going to point, she's going to like gesture to, I think it's Chifley.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Alright. So that's the most recent one. And was anyone there on Sunday specifically, seeing as you said that was when the party occurred?
I don't know if it. I mean, it was there only the two of them.
Right. Then that one hasn't been reported. Okay. Is there any other activity around here that's been unusual by any other standards? It's, well, neighbours, they always watch out for things, don't they?
Yeah, whatever you say. I mean, like I said, she's been making a lot of noise recently. Weird thumps at night and sounds of, like, I don't know what she's doing in there, but not look. Say what you will, other than her music every now and then, she's not really the worst neighbor. I mean, some of the people who come round can be noisy. Why I tell you there was this three-headed bird tune making a ruckus in the hallway a few weeks ago, and
Ryan writing that down.
Lynn's nodding along with that careful concern, just, of course. You said there were disturbances. Tell me, the specific disturbances that she's been making a lot of noise recently, was that around 3 weeks ago that started?
Nah, it's been 2 weeks. Was happening for about a week, usually in the night.
Fascinating. Right. That's incredibly useful. Thank you. You've been a model help.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. Well, I hope you find her.
We hope so as well. Thank you for your time. We'll leave you to it.
Alright. And you're just gonna slam the door in your face, even though, you know, like, even though, like, give you a nod, right, and then just slam.
Lynn has actively taken a step back. She knows the gimmick. She knows the tropes. She's not a fool! Okay.
Anybody in Olive been here?
Run that by me again, kiddo?
I said a big three-headed bird. That's Eeny, Miny, and Mo. They live with Miss Crystal, actually.
Whoa.
He doesn't know that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of a she does cover her face a little bit by pushing her glasses up her nose, and yes, that does sound like them. I know that they did uh interact with her a little bit before we had our argument. Yes.
Right. So from what I'm getting from all of this is that potentially the surges have been going on for 2 weeks. So that's enough time for people to be made aware of them. If she's been talking to her cousin Chifley, that is a good source of information from here. We'll want to be branching out from here, but I think that's all the information we're going to get from here, unfortunately. We've got some valid information, some valid intel. As a detective, I know certain statistics. We're going to find her. We're going to find her.
Ryan's just gonna go up and pat Crystal's arm, trying to be reassuring.
Yeah, she has that sort of anime you can't see her eyes past her glasses at the moment, but she is sort of like nodding her head, and her expression is very determined right now.
Ms. Crystal, have you got people you can stay with right now?
Me?
Indeed. Are
It's
there
important
people
not to be alone in times of stress.
I'm fine. I don't not particularly.
Right. Ma'am, as a detective, I am encouraging it. You said you had people that you were living with. However, judging by that conversation, perhaps getting in contact with your father might be a good idea. We will keep you looped and included in this investigation for obvious purposes on multiple levels. I believe, getting in contact with your cousin and getting in contact with that film group or theatre group. I will reach out to a few contacts and see if I can find out any information around the surrounding area. There are a few contingencies we can go off of. There's policy for this structure.
Well, don't have to make a separate trip for my father. He lives with our cousins at the moment.
Marvelous.
That's convenient.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Ryan is writing that down.
Indeed.
You're also welcome to roll another insight on her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey!
What's her insight again, kid? It is
I am in the wrong goddamn place. Dancing with the chuckle fucks. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you both get. She does not look very impressed by the idea of staying with her dad right now. Lynn, that is a very stubborn expression. And you are aware of. I'm sure you're aware of what a long-term grudge might look like.
Ah! Family feuds! Why? Internally, she is just going, can we have one healthy family in Inkwell? One! Just one! Well, actually, we've already got Bo and Tiffy, but okay, can we have one in Toontown?
That was me. I set the bar too low.
We set the bar far too low. We're dancing with Satan at this point. Water's in my hand. But she just goes, then just nods and goes, okay. We will establish a situation on this front. You appear, if any minor more out of the question, and you do not wish to be with your father, we will be able to find something to establish a connection here. I'll have someone drop in on you. As it stands, I believe we should go and investigate, or at least contact the rest of your immediate family and inform them of what we have found. In a professional setting.
Yeah, probably.
Alright. Then without much further ado, I do not believe there is anything else we can get here. As they are leaving, Lynn will be just like doing a sweep check of the place because it's been a week. These guys are professionals, but just maybe. But yeah, no, she's not holding out hope.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier, so I will mention it now. That when Rai did a sweep of Cassie's room, he would have found in one of her desk drawers a couple of presents hidden in it that have labels on them.
Oh, my heart. Oh no. Oh no! Surprise, guys! Your family member was kidnapped before your birthday. We bring presents. We bring presents and news.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll have to have that conversation another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just grab the presents, shove them in hammerspace, grab other stuff, investigation stuff, and then just go. This is our lives now.
Yep.
There is probably the detectives just looking out over the railing, the open stairwell, just doing the full-on detective thing.
The detective monologue as the sunsets and the music plays.
It's a dramatic lookout. We are all thinking it in our hearts. Because come on, these guys are goddamn tropes. It's at this point you gotta have the trope.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But I don't think there's any more we can do today unless there's anything else that you directly have, Candle. Oh, wise Candle, wonderful Candle. Oh, fantastic viewer.
I do not have anything more to give to you. With what you have, I think you guys are set up well for the next one of having the getting to talk to other people and seeing if you can find a lead from that.
We have done the best we can.
Yeah,
onwards.
You guys did a really good job, honestly. I'm very impressed by what you managed to find and what you've pieced together. But unfortunately, I can't give you any more at this point in time.
You are so incredibly valid, and we love you. All right.
One day we'll have a case that we can open and close in the same session, but today is not that day.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might have been a bit ambitious to think that we would get through this all in one, but that's how these things go sometimes.
That's
it. It is how it's be, and that's why we have multiple slots.
Yep. Anyway, thank you folks for listening in. Thank you for sticking with us for 2.5 hours. You guys were wonderful. And thank you to anyone who listens to this in the future. And thank you to my wonderful players. You were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Happy
the number
to
of
have
times I said, Rai writes that down. has made me giggle. It's my gag for the day.
Yes, it was an excellent gag. It was also excellent because it was just there was so much emotional stuff being thrown out and it was all being written down.
He's
But
being
alas,
very diligent.
there are no sketches because Rai cannot draw.
No.
But we love
Bless
them
him.
anyway.
We love him dearly. We love him dearly.
Anyway, I'm going to stop the recording, so thank you folks, and bye!
Bye bye.
Bye bye.